how to, not hurt yourself with this power saw or whatever, that sort of thing. And so we know that QR codes are essentially what they do is they deliver information. And that's what QR code 1.0 is all about. Now we've been thinking all year about QR code 2.0 because we figured out that we need to be further ahead. And so for QR code 2.0, what we've really thought about is people still need to know what that QR code thing is going to do. And I mean, if I scan it, is it going to waste 2 minutes of my life? Is this going to be a dancing baby on my mobile phone? Or is this going to be actually something that is useful to me and give me a reason to scan it again? And so a good example over here would be the what we call a branded QR code, which is the Timbers code. We're working with the Timbers. I'm going to get into that in a bit. Or, I like this one, the quarter pounder. And that certainly tells you what it's going to deliver, right? Scan that thing and, you're going to get full. And the caption, are QR codes good for you, is really a question that we bring to our clients. Our clients, because we're essentially an advertising agency that is intensely focused on mobile solutions. We use all of the traditional, anthropomorphic tools that advertising agencies use, print, lifestyle images, let's put a lot of thought into a person projecting themselves into this advertising so that we can get them the message. But oftentimes that advertising that we're trying to get, we're using is to get people to engage with mobile devices and mobile portals, and that's what a QR code is. A quick case study, Kellogg's this year in the spring, they released a new cereal called Crunchy Nut. The target audience, and believe me, if you're going to make a new cereal, you're going to know who it is you want that cereal to go to. They wanted that cereal to go to 18 to 24-year-olds because they thought that 18 to 24-year-olds would be likely to eat Crunchy Nut 24 hours a day. Whenever they needed a meal, Crunchy Nut would be the go-to kind of meal, right? It's like the new top ramen. No microwave required, you just pour it in a bowl and eat it. And so they wanted to come up with a clever campaign to let these young people, these young men know that it's okay to eat Crunchy Nut any time of the day because it's morning somewhere. That was their concept. And so they put a QR code on the back of the box and they put a text, and I'm going to get into this, an SMS text. And I have a really good friend here, Marcus Alexander from Ulink, who's a text SMS guy. And he's a great guy here locally and has a great solution. But I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about how QR codes are starting to maybe make a little more of an inroad than they had before. So they put a QR code and they put an SMS text number on the back of the box. If you scan the QR code, it opened up a video that showed you where morning was around the world. So the first time I did it, and I scanned the QR code, it showed 3 guys wearing hats in China walking in a rice paddy on their way to go to work in the morning. So it's okay to eat Crunchy Nut because it's morning in China. It's good enough. So what I thought was interesting was that they received 45,000 responses in the first couple of months of this campaign, either through the SMS or the QR code. Over 40,000 of them were via the QR code. 85% of the responses were QR code. They weren't SMS. People weren't texting the SMS very much because they recognized that the QR code meant interactive. And so we're starting to see this delineation in different types of mobile marketing, which is something that I'm supposed to address a little bit as well. And that there's a great delineation, whether it's push notification, it's around geolocation to help you find something. What I call the Target app, which is an app I made up in my head about 6 months ago, that you would pull into the parking lot of Target. It would know you're in the parking lot of Target, therefore it would pop up, and as you're walking through the door, all the specials at Target would pop up on your screen, and you'd go, yeah, I need some soap. And you press it, and then, maybe Kai's app or Kio's app, would guide you to that soapbox in the store, And so that all these different types of marketing for mobile are starting to get delineated into different patches. SMS, with all respect to Marcus, because it has a huge place today still. And for a lot of smaller companies and brands, they're just getting into SMS, never mind these push notifications, things they could never possibly afford. So there's kind of a mobile technology now for no matter how big or small your business is. And a lot of our clients are quite small, but we bring these big ideas to very small clients and say, you can leverage this and get a lot out of it. So, moving along here, the QR code today is essentially a doorway. That's what its purpose is. You see a QR code, you scan it, and it can open up pretty much anything that the internet has to offer. We have some really amazing functionality with our QR codes through ScanLife. we have two major partnerships with barcode providers. One is called ScanLife, as I mentioned before, and we do most of our work with them. And then we have another one called Mobile, who we're doing a project with the Timbers right now. In the case of ScanLife, ScanLife has got this great back-end functionality called a premium code. And we charge a little bit more for this code, and yeah, we do charge for our codes because they come with analytics. They come with all sorts of fantastic out-of-the-box applications that you can use them for. They can be turned on, turned off, redirected, told to do something different. And then most importantly, the new functions. Like for example, if you were to scan this QR code right now with one of your mobile phones, either a Droid or an iPhone, it will recognize your OS when you scan it, and it will say, oh, you're an iPhone. I'm going to send you to the download page for Meridian's app for iPhones. And if you scan it with a Droid, it'll do the opposite. Now for an advertiser, this serves a really great purpose. It's one single entry, and we can do that with an unlimited, if there is an app for a phone system out there, we can have it work to that. So it could be Amigo, it could be a BlackBerry, it could be any of those things, all of those things bundled into one single port of entry, if you will. Scan it, and it goes, you're a BlackBerry, you're going to want this thing, I'm going to give it to you. So we think that that's really cool. It's a great functionality. Very few people are using it or even know that it exists. Another really interesting functionality is another premium code feature is multiple scans delivering multiple different types of content on subsequent scans. So if you scan this QR code here right now, it will open up a picture of a motorcycle. If you scan it a second time, it's going to show you a second photograph. And this is live. These are all live codes. It will show you a photograph of a different motorcycle. Now what it's doing is it's basically taking you to a second URL. So you scan it once, it takes you to one URL. You scan it twice, it takes you to the second URL. You scan it a third time, and so on infinitely. Now, locally here in town, we needed a provider that could kind of catch this data from ScanLife, if you will, and then pass that data off to us so that we could say, okay, if you scan it once, we want it to open a YouTube video. If you scan it a second time, we want it to open up a gate page, you know, something you'll have to register for something or whatever. And so we found a great partner here. And Ryan is here from Touchstone Technologies, and they're basically catching that data from ScanLife. And the data that we're capturing is, we create a unique ID for everyone that scans a QR code. So it's an anonymous ID. We don't know who you are. We don't collect your phone number or anything like that. But we create a unique ID so that we can provide this functionality. You scan it once, we say, okay, you know, there you are. And you scan it a second time and say, oh, you scanned this already once, so we're going to give you something different. Because that's what we've been told to do. We can also do this time-based, and we can do it geography-based as well. So if you're in Atlanta and you scan this QR code, you can get one content. If you're in, say, Ohio, and you scan the same QR code, you can get a different content. This is relative to advertisers because these cost money, these QR codes, and it's also easier to manage. One QR code, one point of entry that does all these different functionalities. So we're pretty excited about that back end as well. And then lastly, the Timbers. So as an advertising agency, and a very small one, albeit, and you know, we're always like to see one for the smallest people, maybe tall, but the smallest people in the room. We do big things. And so last week we did a photo shoot at Geldwent. We had 14 models, we had 2 photographers, and we needed to capture a simulated crowd scene and get all the shots we needed of people interacting with the QR code, scanning it, to release what we're going to do on Friday, which is a trial run in 500 seats with the Mobile app, where you scan the QR code in your seat, like off a card back. So we created cards out of the images that we captured. And you scan this QR code, it's going to direct you to download the Mobile app. It's a mobile wallet, ties right in with you. And this mobile wallet has your debit card information in it, and so you can make purchases. Now, this first came to my attention from a friend of mine in advertising. He said, you got to read this article in the Wall Street Journal. There's this little company up in Canada that's doing this amazing thing with this coffee company. So up in Vancouver, BC, they have a rail system very much like we have here, Max. It's called SkyTrain. And in SkyTrain, they print out a ticket, and you know, I've never thought that anybody would be more commercialized than Americans, but they actually have space on the ticket for advertising. And this nice little coffee company up there called Ethical Bean has put a QR code on it. So you get your ticket, you get on the train, you're like, oh, what's this thing? You scan it. Oh, I can purchase my coffee right here. So you purchase your coffee, you pay for it, you order your double latte or whatever it is you want. You walk off the train and there's a conveniently located kiosk. You just walk right up and take that coffee. It's got your name written on it right there. No standing in line for you, no handling money, no drag, no tension, as people like to say. What's really beautiful about this for the coffee company is they sold 200% more coffee during rush hour as soon as they rolled this thing out. People loved it. It's fantastic. No waiting in line. The barista's back there. Maybe he or she is breaking a sweat. But in the same footprint, in the same rental space, they were able to double their sales. So when we saw that, we thought, how can we apply that? We contacted them. We made a deal with this company, Mobio, to be their U.S. representatives. And the first thing we thought of was, how fantastic would it be if you're in the soccer stadium and you want a hot dog or a beer, but you don't want to get up and leave and go stand in line in some dingy concourse. No, that's not dingy, but you know what I mean, dark. There's nobody here from the Timber Grove. You don't want to have to go stand in line, basically. Wouldn't it be great if somebody just bring that to you? And while they're at it, bring you a no-pity scarf or whatever else that it is that you want. And the Timbers thought it was a fantastic idea. Mobio had released it with the Jacksonville Jaguars last year before the NFL strike, and so they got a little data on it. They're rolling it out big time there. They're going to put it in, I think, 30 or 40,000 seats, and we're going to do this trial here over the next 3 games at the end of the season with the goal that if it all works, we're going to roll it out stadium-wide next year for the Timbers. And the nice thing is the concession company that does this work, they have other stadiums around the country, and so everybody's kind of behind this. So that's kind of what's going on with QR Code 2.0, is that there's a lot of back-end functionality that people aren't aware of. It's not just for opening up YouTube videos. It can do much, much more than that. And I welcome your questions when we're finished. Thanks very much for your time.